Alright, hello guys. In this video I will be reviewing the Nerf Armor for the DS Lite. In case you forgot what a DS Lite looked like, this is a DS Lite. It is the polar white one. I've had this one for 4 years. I haven't used a case for it until recently when I decided, it's getting kind of old, and I do use this a lot. I play my DS all the time. Maybe I should get a case for it. I do have the tendency to drop things, so I figured my first priority should be to protect it. Yeah, it's 4 years old. I do have another DS, but this one's my baby. It actually has like some scuff marks and scratches on the case or whatever. This is a well-loved DS, but since it is old and it's kind of on and off with the way that it plays, I figured, well, if I kind of break it attempting to take off this stupid case, it'll be alright. So I bought this at Walmart. I buy a lot of stuff at Walmart, mostly because it's cheap and it's right by where I live. So I bought this at Walmart for, I'd want to say, around $12. Certainly not worth $12. When you look at this, it's very well cushioned and it does work in case you drop it, because I've dropped my DS with this on, and it does what it's supposed to. But once you get this thing on, it's actually not that difficult to get it on. You slip your DS in the bottom and it snaps like that, and then basically you just close this on top of it, and then it's like that. This is what it looks like. But notice that it just added, a lot of bulk, a lot of unnecessary bulk to the DS. And one of my biggest concerns is it gets in the way if you have a book style game. If you have to hold the DS this way, it kind of gets in the way of the buttons a lot, because you have these stupid squishy things here, which half the time when I'm playing I think it's like the shoulder buttons. So we have that problem. The other thing is, if you want to play it like this, after a while it just kind of like orients back, if you scratch it like that. And also if you're lying down and you want to put it like this, after a while it falls back down to where the hinge clicks. So that can be kind of a pain in the ass. Also, in my opinion, I think that the shoulder buttons are a little hampered. You're not really given as much room as you are without the case because of the added bulk. All the ports are still accessible. The power switch is kind of awkward to use, so I usually end up using the stylus to try to turn it on. So I end up having to, do it like that. My DS actually felt like turning on today. But the cool thing about this is, this is like a cool anchor point right here where the stylus is. You could put, you could rest your pinky here if you're holding it in like a different orientation, or you could, rest a finger here while you're playing with the shoulder buttons or whatever. But yeah, this is what it's bulky. That is my biggest complaint, is that it's bulky and it's squishy, and if I dropped this right now it would do what it's supposed to, but I want something that can protect my system but doesn't add so much bulk. The other biggest complaint that I've seen on the internet in my researching of this case was that it's kind of difficult to take off. And you look at this and it's like, oh, but you just pop it off, right? Well, not unless you want to end up with a broken DS. There's actually a trick. You have to actually physically take apart the armor. So you have to put something here right in the hinge right here, be it a thumb or a thumbnail or a screwdriver or something, and you have to unhinge it. And the top part is actually the easiest part to take off because it just slides right off. Now, if you're playing, you can just leave the top part off. Sure, it's not going to be as protected, but it's going to be half as bulky. And it's a lot easier to play it, especially if it's book style. Or you're like me and you like having the DS screen oriented at different heights, before the hinge clicks or after the hinge clicks. And there's better access, slightly better access to the shoulder buttons. This white part here is actually a little hampering for me, but the bottom part is kind of the pain in the ass part to get off. If you've done this a couple of times with this case, then eventually you discover how to get it off. The easiest way that I have found to get this off is you just go where the shoulder buttons are, right here, and you just push up and it pops right out. So it ends up like that, and you just pull it out. It's the easiest way that I found to get the case out. Now there are other cases that are more like silicone, kind of like the ones that I showed in my iPod case review. Those were more what I was going for. They also make hard cases that slip on like the silicone ones, except they actually snap onto the case, and they have less bulk, but they still protect your system. And I hand it to you for $12. I don't really think this is worth the money, and unless you're going to be throwing your DS off of the roof of your building or something. This really isn't worth it, in my opinion. You could easily go with a less bulkier case that's probably around the same price, if not cheaper. The other thing is, this is only for the DS Lite. If you have a DSi, I do think that they do have a special case for DSi, which basically has like openings on the top or whatever. So if you have a DSi and you want to protect it, I personally haven't seen a DSi version of this, but they do have the cases that I'm talking about that are slimmer for both the DSi and the DSi XL. As far as I know, they don't have anything for the 3DS because the 3DS is still new. But basically, would I recommend the Nerf case? I probably wouldn't. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't. If you have a little kid, maybe. But if you're a casual gamer like me, you could probably do with a silicone case instead of, this big bulky ass thing. I mean, you put the DS and the case side by side. Look at how much bulk that it adds. The DSi is this tiny little thing on the side, and then you put this thing. Yeah, that's a lot of added bulk. And for someone who has small hands, that's really a huge detraction. But the other big detraction is it's kind of a pain in the ass to get off. It doesn't come with any instructions on how to remove the case at all. When I first put it on, I thought it was on there for life until I went on YouTube and found some tutorials on how to take it off. It's sad that I had to go on YouTube to figure out how to take a case off, but I wanted without the case. What if I wanted a different case? It's stuck on there forever. So I would not recommend the Nerf for anything except if there's going to be heavy handling, like if you have a small child who doesn't understand that handhelds are precious or something like that, But for someone like me who needs a case, silicone slip case would be just as well for someone who needs accessibility over, I'm not going to be dropping it from huge heights, so the Nerf Armor is a little pointless for me. And at $12, it's kind of you know, it's something that should be priced a little lower in my opinion. And that was $12 at Walmart. Elsewhere it might be more expensive. So I would definitely give that a pass. If I had a choice between that and something else, or between that and having no DS case, in case you notice, I don't have anything on here. Not just for the purposes of the video, but all my other game systems are like that as well. So, if you want to give it a try, or it's something that you think would work for you, well, good for you. But it's not something that works for me, and it's just the reviews that I've seen of the product are just, they're bad. The only positive reviews I've seen are of parents who have younger children who tend to chuck DSs across the room like frisbees, and they end up breaking it. But then their biggest complaint is when they want to remove it, they end up breaking the DS because they don't know how. So I think it's one of those your mileage may vary things. I don't think they're particularly great, but someone else might think differently. So, in the end, it's just my opinion, but I would definitely give the Nerf Armor a pass. So, that's it.